What's going on, everybody? George here. Casey, Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. Hope everybody's having a good day. It's Tuesday. My day's okay. Been pretty under the weather, so if I go mute and start talking, I apologize ahead of time. I've been coughing like crazy. The old COVID's got a hold of me for a second here. So, Casey, what's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot, man. Just excited to see the biggest race of the entire year, which kicks off tomorrow at Montgomery. So I don't know, man. This is there's going to be a whole lot of money on the line, as Britton Galen said on one of our past streams. If you didn't go watch it, then go back and watch that at some point. Not right now, though. Go back and watch that whenever we're not live, but. Britton Galen told us this is going to be the last $1 million guaranteed to win race for the foreseeable future. So who wants to be a millionaire this week, George?
Yeah, I got a question up on the poll as well, guys, just to kind of add a little fun to the stream and see if we can't get a guess at who's actually going to win it. Apologies, because my mouth isn't necessarily syncing up to my camera. I can't figure out why that's actually happening right now. Just a walk through through the shoes of George for the day. But check out that poll. I see you in there, Cody Polish. CP Promotions is in the house, and definitely looking forward to hitting a couple of his races next year. As I know he'll be somewhere close to my neck of the woods. I'll be in his somewhere near one of his races before you know it. So yeah, guys, open discussion. You know how we do it here. Feel free to chime in. Facebook, YouTube. Make sure if you're over on that YouTube channel, you hadn't done so already, hit that subscribe button. We're at like 870 something subscribers now. We're still trying to get to 1,000. It's happening slowly but surely. You can't thank you guys enough. So, no, Casey, man, I guess we got some things we could discuss. Definitely want to hear what the fellas have going on, and the ladies in the chat today to see if we can bounce off of them a little bit too. What do you think?
Yeah, man, we got Old Racer in the chat. Will Newman's in the chat, and we got Troy Abercrombie over here too. And Troy just said earlier, I don't know if you saw it on Facebook, but he was having some issues getting some parts, and he called up old Champs Performance, Stephen McCrory over there, who, by the way, is on his way to Montgomery right now. So maybe he'll be a millionaire. We don't know that. But Troy said, man, he couldn't find any parts, and everybody was telling you good luck finding them. And he saw on GBR, Champ's up here advertising with us. He said, I'm going to give Champ a call. And he said, sure enough, Champ got it to him, and nobody else could find it. Just like we always say, man, that dude's got his fingers everywhere. And if you can't find parts anywhere and you call Champ, Champ's going to have them. So why go the long way? Just go straight to Champ. Get them right there.
Yeah, it's worth spending a little time on that subject, to be honest. In an economy that is unknown right now, to be honest, and I'm going to be real shocked to see what happens next year. But in an economy where it's kind of nothing is really able to be grabbed right now, Steve McCoy still somehow seems to get his hands on things that nobody else can grab. I'm gonna start calling him Steve the Magician because he comes with some magic. He's got some magic touch or something. Being able to pull these parts like that. So. Definitely, if you're in the market,
I said, man.
Go ahead, Casey.
No, I was just saying, like, we don't promote things on GBR that we don't believe in, and I can tell you right now that the reason we started promoting Champ's name to begin with, even before he actually started advertising with us, was the fact that I have personally ordered parts from Champ, and no one else could get them. But then, like I'm talking, you look at all the major areas, we all know who they are. You look personally to them, and then you call Champ. Call you on the phone. I actually called him, Troy, whenever he was on his way to Darlington. He was just pulling out of his driveway. So he was, oh, and by the way, he won that race. So This might be a little good luck charm for him. He's working for Troy on the way to Montgomery. So we might see him in the winner's circle after all. You don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. He's been on a tear here lately too. So not to say he hadn't been driving the wheels off of whoever car he's in. I think he's in one of the Williams boys' cars. But definitely have been sticking his head in picking up right where he left off. If you want me to be honest, old Champ. So if you guys got parts that you need, you know what to do. Head over to Champ's Performance. It's linked inside of this video, probably every other video. If you go back into the history of Going Bracket Racing. And if you still can't find them, we'll hit one of us up, myself or Casey. We know how to get a hold of them. So shout us a holler. We'll help you. No, man.
That's right. We
got some
dragsters.
things going on in the chat here. Cody Newman says, if Champ can't find it, you're SOL. I'll let you guys decide what SOL stands for. But he's right.
That's right, man. We got Dragster Jeff over here saying he's pulling the valve body out of the Wonder Wagon and we're the background noise. That's fine, man. We just are happy that you're listening to us right here. Jeremy McCracken, hello from PCB.
Panama City Beach.
I wonder if it's warm down there still, George. It's getting a little cold over here in North Carolina.
Yeah, it's not bad here in Texas. Probably 70, 75 degrees today, it feels like. And but it ain't all hot, so this is my time of year. Had I not, I think I'll be released by a doctor here in the next couple of weeks with my Achilles. But had that not have happened, I promise I'd be playing some golf. Of course, right now I have COVID. So luckily we have a computer screen between us, guys. You don't have to worry about contracting COVID from my part. So anyway, I'd be out there playing some long ball if I could, chasing that old white ball around. And looking forward to it here in the next couple of weeks. I haven't played no golf in a long time.
So here's something I wanted to talk about, George, because so obviously we've been saying the million. Well, here's the thing, man. They actually came up with a really cool contest that actually is going to start tomorrow. They're going to make someone do a time run. They got eight cars, and I think you can have 3 people on each crew. So what's that? 24 people altogether, something like that? Yeah. So you got to make a time shot. You come back. And I don't know if all 3 people can work on it or if 2 of them got to hold hand tools to another guy, which I guess kind of be how it'd work anyway. But anyway, they're doing a converter swap challenge. And the winner out of these 8 teams, I guess you could say, the winner gets $1,000 and a new FTI torque converter.
Interesting. I wonder if how
that's going to be something to watch.
I wonder how they're going to televise it. Probably via Facebook Live somehow. You know what I mean?
Either,
head over to Galen or Britt's page or the guaranteed page, GABR, and be able to see it.
Right.
I don't know how
I'm sure you'll see it on Cummings Motorsports, but Motor Mania has it listed on their YouTube channel that they're going live at 5:30 tomorrow.
Oh, it's going down, so we'll see it on Motor Mania.
Right, I would think so. I mean, it says I think it said on the GABR page that the converter swap race starts tomorrow at 3 p.m. So you'll probably get it on Facebook Live because it says Motor Mania is scheduled to go live at 5:30. I'm sure they'll have some sort of shootout race. They always do. I'm sure they'll have one more. I would assume they'll have a shootout race to get one more person into the actual million, wouldn't you think?
You'd think. And especially with it being, the last one for a while, I'd expect to see at least, if not a shootout race, we're going to see some raffles or waffles, should I say. Waffles to get people into this the big guy. So definitely looking forward to watching it. We're going to go live from the 8th mile, so there's going to be a lot to do. I think it's Friday, right?
Yeah, man. It's on Friday. They're going to run. So Thursday is the 80 grander. Friday they're going to run the guaranteed million, but they're going to run the first round and the re-entry round. And then everybody's going to come back Saturday, and Saturday is going to be the finish because Galen said when he was on our show, his goal was he wants everybody to be able to enjoy that moment and not have it be at 4 a.m. when everybody's asleep. He wants to be at like 7 o'clock, which is great because now we can all be here. None of us are up super late and all that stuff. So not only are they going to have all the people at the track being able to participate in that because they have a huge racer appreciation party after that also.
Got you.
And yeah, so everybody be hanging out there, and then we can all be watching online. I mean, this is probably going to be the biggest, most televised bracket race ever, I would have to say. And the reason being is because all the people at the track are watching. It's already happened once before, so now everybody knows about it as if you somehow couldn't know about a guaranteed $1 million race. True. But since it's going to be completed at a decent time, barring any kind of crazy weather stuff like last year, which right now the forecast looks awesome in the southeast, so they should be fine. But as long as there's nothing crazy that happens, I mean, this race, the winner will be getting celebrated while the sun is still up. And that's what I think Galen wanted more than anything.
Here's a comment from David Hearn. He says, I like stopping after the re-entry round. It puts everybody on the same playing field for the next morning into round 2. I agree with that.
Right.
I don't know where that started. I want to say hats off SFG because I think SFG started this whole let's turn it into more of a marathon instead of a sprint, especially these big races. Let's keep you guys fresh. So it accomplishes a lot of things. Number one, like he's saying, everybody's on the same playing field. Nobody's really all tired. You've had a night of sleep. Of course, it could work both ways. Some people might be in a zone before they go to bed. I understand that, right? But hopefully, when you wake up, you retain that zone that you've been in all day anyway. But I think SFG is the one started that type of a structure to where it's all right. Let's push this bad boy out over 2 days, and I'm glad everybody kind of jumped on board with that and took off because it is David. It's definitely everybody's on the same playing field. I do like. The thought process guaranteed that Britt and Galen have of allowing people to celebrate together as well. You know, at 7 o'clock, you got a Racers Appreciation dinner to go after that. Well, that's going to feel good for a person who just won $1 million. As a matter of fact, you're probably not even going to see him at it. He's probably going to go run and hide or curl up in a corner of his motorhome and cry for a while because that's probably what I'd do. Just don't tell anybody. All right, you know, where's George?
Hey,
oh yeah, he's crying. So just leave him alone. Give him a minute. Back up.
Don't. Yeah. And don't forget, man, that last year, even after the splits, because the coolest thing that I thought happened, and that I think a lot of the viewers like, is the main question is always, what happened in the split? What happened in the split? Calls this guy. Oh, this guy knows. Let's call him. Oh, you know, the coolest part is they wrote out the actual numbers on the big checks. So the thing is, even after the split, even after it, and we know it gets cut up big time because it's $1 million to win and 50 grand to runner up. So we all know they're splitting. The coolest thing is, even after all that splitting, Jeff Serra still took home $400,000.
True.
For real, $400,000. Not it says $400 on the check. It is really $400,000.
Right. And hey, everybody can sit here and wonder what in the world would you do with $400,000 at this point in your life. I have a few plans. That's all I know. But answer the question if you're in the chat. What would you do if you struck the guaranteed million and what if you didn't split it and hit the whole million? Nah, we know you ain't that crazy, all right. but no. You know what are you gonna do? Sean Pinkerton says, "I don't like changing my luck. When it's your day, it's your day. When you get taken out of your zone, then the next day generally belongs to someone else." I agree to disagree with it, kinda. The way I see it here, man, is if you're racing at this million. If it's your day, the day before the million is completed, then it's your day. But let's just call it your race and run with it from there. You know you're in your mind when you wake up, I'm still in this race. There is going to be a level of focus, a level of determination, all of that. You went to bed if you got to sleep, knowing that when you wake up, you got to warm up your hot rod, air up the tires, put fuel in, and all that other stuff to get ready to go into the lanes and battle it for $1 million. And let's just say that carries 8 rounds on down into the big boy. Man, your day happened at round 6, probably when the split's going to happen anyway. So,
right.
I don't know, man. I like it, Sean. I do think, though, that in these particular level of racing, these types of races, man, if it's your day, it's your race, not your day. It's gonna be your race because everybody knows going in. It's a marathon now. So you had better be planning for. All right, we got past second round. I guess I gotta, or we got past re-entry. I guess I better go to sleep. You know, because tomorrow I gotta go again. So it's in your head. It's not an unknown. It ain't like it started raining and you just got pulled out of it. You know it's coming. So I like it, but agree to disagree there. What you got on?
And YouTube? Well, first of all, and then we'll go back to what Sean said. So we had a couple answers to your question there earlier. Will Newman says he'd pay off everything. MMR, Monday Morning Racer. If you guys haven't checked him out, check him out. He says, I'd bring GBR under the MMR banner and pay you fellas. We would appreciate that, MMR. Like you want to borrow a car? If you have $3,000, you can take, well, mine are apart. Sorry. You go grab George's, though.
It's a part 2, but it's easy to put together, easy to put back together right now.
George Hoff, oh no, don't get George going on this here. And I'm talking about you, George. George Hoff says invest more in crypto. So don't even start, George. Don't even start. And we
No,
got
I'm
Dragster
starting.
Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
We got Dragster Jeff. Pay off the house in Cali, move to Texas, get a pair of Miller diggers. There we go.
There you go. There you
So
go.
go back to what Sean was saying, man. The thing is anymore, because they allow double entries in the million. And the thing is anymore, if you're going to actually, because 450 cars, that's what the cap is, that'll still turn into a marathon style race, even at the best, at least for the first few rounds. That's just how it is, which is why they're starting first round, running reentry, and then going the next day. Well, the issue lies in there's pretty much anyone who's entered in this guaranteed million. I would venture to say probably half of these guys, if they don't race 100% for a living, it's probably a substantial part of their income every year. So what my point is with that is there are guys who are confident enough in their racing ability that if they go win first round in the first entry, they will actually throw second round to be in the reentry round to get the data in the reentry round, so that way they have a leg up in second round because they're that confident they're going to win the reentry round. It's just like, if you're playing blackjack, if you go all in and you go all in and then you hit 21, some guys will let that ride, man. I wouldn't, but some guys will let it ride, and those guys will let it ride.
No, I wouldn't let it ride. I mean, like you said, there are people who have the ability to do that. I'm not one of them. I don't care what kind of race it is. I'm not losing on any type of purpose. I don't care if I'm racing you or my dad or anybody else. I'm putting everybody on the trailer. Okay, this isn't Elite Motorsports versus Kent Black and Summit, or not Summit anymore, Hendricks race. This isn't a ploy to take Greg Anderson off the mantle. I'm coming to win. I don't care who it is. So it is what it is. Now, if we were in pro stock and I'm being paid to do a job, well, I guess I have to be the quote unquote hired gun and do my job, qualify low and take somebody's head off. So that's just the nature of the beast in that particular event. So yeah, what else you got, man?
Well, here's a question that I have for you and for everybody in the chat, for that matter. And this would be a question that not necessarily, you obviously have to bring it up because it already happened. But, dude, Jeff Serra has had potentially the best year. And I know it seems like we've said this the last 4 years in a row. Now, obviously, we haven't had GBR for that long, but I'm saying you and I have said this for the last 4 years in a row, because it just seems like ever since these mega money races have come up, you're just like, man, can that be repeated? Can that be repeated? Can that be repeated? But can Jeff Serra repeat winning the guaranteed $1 million race? Because normally you would say, man, Jeff Serra's a good racer, but Jeff Serra's been on a tear ever since he won the guaranteed million last year. I mean, he's won more money in 2 months, I think, this year than that guaranteed million payout, which we just said was $400,000. I mean, he hasn't just won a couple races this year, George. He's won a lot of races this year.
It's true. It's true. And guys, don't forget the poll's open right now. Jeff Serra is leading the polls. We've got 3 guesses, 3 answers to Jeff Serra, who's getting 50% of the shot to win it. Brandon Taylor's got 1. Troy and Gary Williams, they have 1. Nasty Nick has 1. Can it be done? I believe so. And the right person for the job is the person who can run theirself in the final of a $100,000 race in the first place. So,
Right.
that happened this year. Yeah, that happened. All right. So it's like, can it be done? Absolutely. Will it be done? I really don't know. I don't, because I have a very, very strange feeling that everybody knows Jeff Serra. So
Right.
Jeff Serra pulls into the staging lights. Maybe it's easier, and this is just an epiphany I'm having right now, but maybe it's easier to stay in a groove when after you put your helmet on and look in the other lane, that guy's looking at you like he wants to take you to the woodshed and back to the woodshed again after that fact. So it's like, all right, man, I got to get up on my horse and prepare to knock the tree down, prepare to be dead on something while I'm carrying 4 or 5 numbers down the track. You know what I mean? So
Right.
can it be done? Yes. Is there a big old target on his back at this point? Absolutely. And is it going
Huge.
to play a factor? Is my other question. It comes a point where you know there's a target on your back. Does that give you the jitters in your stomach, or does that get you ready to go? Nobody really
I
knows the
don't
answer to the
think
question unless we've been in it, in that situation. But I would have to say there's probably going to be a few jitters. That's just me personally. I mean, I'm not a nervous type of person, but after I done won that kind of money and these people looking at me like I'm bait or I'm about to be devoured or something,
but George,
generally get a little nervous.
if if that was going to happen to Jeff Serra, don't you think it would have happened already this year? Because I know that it's big time money up there, but he hadn't been winning small time money either. So don't you think if the jitters were going to happen, they would have happened already?
So I'm just taking my cue from the OG, sort of, if you want me to be honest. I don't remember how far Jeff Serra went, but I don't remember. I don't think it was as far as
I
one
don't
Scotty
know that he
Richardson for
got
crying
out
out
of
loud. You know what I mean?
right. I don't think that he got out of second round, honestly. But
I
if
don't
you're
either.
going to have one bad race, it's I mean, that's not the race to have it for
That is
sure.
not
But
the
if you're
race
going
to
to have
have it
one
at.
bad race, the one that we're going to right now is not the race to have it at.
This is definitely not the race to have it at. But that goes for everybody. So, like I said, man, we got Nasty Nick up here on this board. I was at Cody Polage's race, CP Promotions, man. Shout out at Cattle Mills I-30 Speedway here in Cattle Mills, Texas. And Nasty Nick was there. And Cavanoid, and I was standing with Cavanoid and looking at the because he used the cell phone time slip deal doodad, which probably going to become way more popular here before too long. I'd have to probably venture to say that people are really going to adopt that pretty soon. But as I look at Sean Pinkerton, he's asking how much did BT pay to get on the pole. He's like, hey, Brandon Taylor's there because he's due. Is why Brandon Taylor's there, in my opinion. It's been a while since I heard Brandon Taylor in a finals of a big race, and if he's going to the show, I think he's due. So that's Sean Pinkerton. That's how he got in there. Casey actually took the words out of my mouth when he put him on there in the first place.
To be fair, we had a massive list, and it would only let us put 4 people up. It was going to be really interesting if it would have allowed us to put. I had like 15 people. It was going to be a really cool deal, but Facebook strikes us down again, George. As always,
guys, I lost my train of thought reading that post, and either way you look at it, I think there's jitters. I think there's going to be. You always go up, but man, you fall down pretty tough whenever you get to the top. Jeff Serra made it to the top. Now, can he contain it?
He can fall down on all that fluffy money that he's won this year.
I'm sure he wouldn't mind. You know what I mean? And we're right here at the reset point. I'd have to guess that Jeff Serra probably wind up in Bradenton for the Christmas race. But you know, I'm pretty sure that everybody else is winding down. I also think that's why this is going to be one of the most watched streams for a bracket race, because everybody's winding down. Everybody's got a car like Casey's with the new GBR sticker on the back of it that doesn't have any wheels or axles, none of that junk in there, no brakes, nothing. You know what I mean? The motor ain't in it. There's stuff going on right now. You know, you go out in my garage, you'll see parts all over the place too. So it's that time of year. So I don't know, man. Hopefully he holds it down, because this is going to be one to think about for the rest of the winter. And I'd love for him to be able to think positive instead of lick a few wounds all winter long.
Here's an easier question, I think, to answer then. Beyond because if you're picking one person to win it, that's tough. Let me ask you this. This seems like an easy one to answer, honestly. Will Jeff Serra make the split? I think absolutely.
You know, I'm taking my thought from the OG Million again. Yes, that happens. Can he dust off and move forward from that?
But you got to think. You can't concentrate on one race, because if you think about it, I bet you I would be willing to put a lot of money on this. Jeff Serra has raced more rounds and definitely won more rounds than anyone else bracket racing in the country this year.
I would have to say that's probably truth. No, 100% it is. But my thought process, it goes back to man, I just got my tail kicked. Can you wiggle yourself out of what happened there? That's the last race that we've seen that I'm aware of. A big money style, a big huge stage. This one's going to be a big huge stage again. Um, can you figure out and correct what happened then? Or were you just pulling into the lanes wrong? That happens to everybody, right? But is there a such
Right.
thing as pulling into the lanes right for Jeff Serra at this
Well,
point?
I can tell you this, George. Not that any of these other ones were any different, but I can tell you this race for sure. There is no pulling into the lanes right or wrong. I think they're all wrong. Every
Huh.
single person there. You do not attend a race like this that costs $3,000 for an entry fee. First of all, without showing up with the $700 buyback money. But at the same time, you don't show up to a race like this if you're not a heavy hitter. You just don't. You don't participate. Like you don't contribute to a race like this. You go
Sean,
to a race like this because you think you can win it.
Sean Pinkerton chimes in and makes a point that is, I mean, you and I've talked about this 1,000 times. I don't, matter of fact, probably more than that, Casey. I don't know. It is easier for some of these guys to show up and race knowing someone else is funding the deal. When you get a racer that is on their own dime, sometimes that sits in the back of their head. Hey man, I'll tell you what,
Yep.
we talked about that, and Jeff Serra is a heck of a racer, so most everybody knows by now. I don't think I'm breaking anything special here on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. That Jeff Serra is a hired gun. You know, he's got his own equipment, but I don't think he'll have any problem ever finding somebody who likes to hire a driver to fit
Right.
their seat. Jeff Serra's
Well,
not going
George,
to have that
I
problem.
mean, if Jeff Serra called you today and said, "Hey, George, nobody has a car for me. Can I run yours?" You'd be a moron not to say yes.
I'll
You know
bring
what
it
I
to.
mean?
I'll bring it to
Yeah,
you.
I'll bring it to you.
I'll be there.
Yeah,
Where you at? I'll pay for
exactly.
the gas. Don't even worry about it. You don't even got to take it off your
Right.
salary. I'll bring it to you.
Exactly.
I don't got
It's
no
the
nitrous
same
on it.
thing.
Hey, it runs 596. Pretty consistent.
There you
Okay.
go.
There you have it, man. Do your thing. Hey, I just want to sit back and
He'll
watch.
dial
Hey, you need a wrench?
and he'll dial it. Yeah.
You need me to check
He'll
the
dial it
tires?
616.
Right. Dial it 616. I'll get the tires straight. Man, just let me know.
Right.
What kind of
So
question was that? What would you do? You'd probably have to go put something together in a heartbeat, but I bet you'd give it
I
the
would.
best shot you could. Son of a gun.
That's right.
What do
That's
you mean?
right.
Heck yeah, I would.
Is this the million that a footbreaker wins? Because they have that Elite 48 and they'll run them all separate. And I'm fairly certain that dropped Hastings in last year at seventh round, maybe. So that would have been maybe 16, 8 cars, something like that.
Well, that's big time split money right there.
And they get a $5,000 for getting to that point, and then they
So,
drop into the split.
so if it's Nick Hastings, I think the answer is yes. I'm sorry.
What about Lucas Walker? He could do it. Andy Schmall.
I think all of those drivers could do it, right? I do. But if it isn't Nick Hastings, it's going to be a top bubber to win it. It's going to be a door truck that wins this race, in my opinion. I like Scotty's chances, or excuse me, Gary Williams in his truck. I think a door truck's going to win it. Door trucks have been winning so much this year. It's a sure bet for me right now.
And we're due for a Gary Williams sighting, I feel like. Don't
That's
you feel
true.
like that? I feel like he's been laying low kind of this year.
It's almost the
And
same with Brandon Taylor. It's kind of the same scenario.
Right.
Of course, we are putting Brandon Taylor and Gary Williams into the same kind of hierarchy right now. Nothing to you, Brandon Taylor, but I mean Gary's got the resume. You'd agree with that yourself, I'm sure. So I have a WG Cash door trucks to the front. You know it, brother. You know it. but Gary Williams has. I think he's won a few things this year, but nothing on the big stage, and it could very well be Williams' boys' day. That's why I put Troy in there too, because there hadn't necessarily there hadn't been a good Troy sighting yet. Well, a good one, but not
100.
yeah, 100, right? But
But
not
here's
not
the
not like Troy normally do it, you know.
it would not be out of line to say you could potentially see Troy and Gary in the final.
Now that would be one for the ages. That'd be
It could
one.
be an FTI final.
That would be one for the ages. That'd be nice to talk about at live from the 8th Mile. I'll tell you that. That'd be nice to talk about. Wonder
That's
how
right.
much money they have betting against each other on the line for that particular race, and then I'll try to
That's
figure
right.
it out. Hey, how much did y'all gamble against each other? But yeah, man. I think a door truck's got it this year, though. I do. I think if we were to ask, is this the year of a foot breaker? Me saying door truck, unless Kevin Pollard is the other bottom bubber. That's all I got.
He'll probably
and
be
he'll
there
bring
too.
out if he's got the love truck out though. It's that truck. I don't even know if he still's got that thing, but that's the truck right there.
He's got it.
Yeah,
he's got it.
Yeah, man. I take that. I put money on that one.
Now, what if? And this would be awesome. And I've seen this in the chat. I can't find who said it. Back at it. Pretty sure that's Cody Newman, but I can't remember.
Got it.
So back at it, saying he hopes a no-name guy wins, and that or a lesser-known guy type thing. And I do think that would be extremely cool. The reason being, because like we said earlier, no one's going to be a no-name guy in this race, but a guy who's not a somebody whose name is like Williams or Bogacki or Hastings or Sarah, someone who's not those type of guys. It would be really cool to see a guy who's just an all-around good racer. Maybe he won some money throughout the year, decided to go put some money down at the Million, see what happens. And if he went deep in it or ended up winning that would just be really cool for the sport of bracket racing to yet again prove that the reason bracket racing was invented was to put everyone on the same level. And it doesn't matter if you do it for a living. It doesn't matter if you run 7 seconds, if you run 4 seconds. You're all on the same playing field as long as you work on your car. So what do you think about something like that?
Hey, I like it. Like you said, that would be great for, number one, the no-namer who isn't going to be no-name anymore after winning a race that large. Number two, the life-changing money that comes behind that. Nobody ever knows what people are going through at a particular time in life that they strike something big like this. Okay? So, yes, it is slim chances that a no-namer will win a big race like this due to the amount of money that it costs to get in it. But the odds are always increased by the brilliance of the promoter. Hey, here's a waffle over here. Hey, here's a race over down at I-30. You win this race, I'll put you in the guaranteed me. So, hey, man, some of those races happen where we race at these 5 granders or at these 10 granders or even at sometimes even lesser races than that, So I can't say that there isn't a no-namer in there whose day it is. And I hope I'm talking somebody up right now, to be honest. I really do. Simply because the level of being able to talk about it alone that will come from a no-namer winning one of the biggest races in bracket racing history. That's going to carry a lot of steam into the next racing season for us. We're going to need a lot of steam for next year. We can forecast this all we want to, but good old America is not in a happy mood. Like, you can kind of hear her stomach growling pretty good right now, or kind of bubbling like she's about to drop something off good number 2 on somebody's head. Hopefully I'm not the recipient, but man, it's not looking good for next year for some areas of our country. And I'm not going to get off into the politics of it. I just want to talk drag racing, of course, but that affects drag racing. Fuel prices are going up. People are saying, hey, we can't hold races of this magnitude anymore. But you can see things starting to change for the good as well. So there a lot of things are going to be unveiled during the winter series here at Going Bracket Racing, because we got some things lined up to where I believe we'll probably break a little bit of news about what's going on next year on this particular Going Bracket Racing YouTube series coming up, the winter series, guys. So, okay,
that's right, man. But I didn't. I actually did not think about that. of how many shootouts and how many raffles and giveaways and stuff like that there were. And I mean, I think Gleghorn did like maybe 20 raffles or something. So theoretically 20 guys could potentially be in. I don't remember how he did it, but I would assume he got the full value of the entry fee, I'm sure. But the point is, if you get 30 guys throwing in $100, someone is going to get into a $3,000 race for $100. Now, at that point, the regular guy could do stuff like that.
You ain't joking.
There probably are a lot of relatively unknown guys in there because of that. So Gleghorn might have put in quite a few people just because of thinking of something like that. That's a really good idea.
You ain't joking, man. And to piggyback off Sean Pinkerton, winning a waffle and getting into a race like that on $100, that's almost like showing up and racing on somebody else's money. So your confidence level, if you're any type of
well, it doesn't matter so much anymore.
No, it doesn't. Everybody knows bracket racing is a rhythm style of racing, just like what O'Foley was talking about last week. This is a rhythm style of racing. All you got to do is find that rhythm and hope your car's found its rhythm, because that's the name of the game, if you ask me.
And don't forget about the fact that, like Britt was saying on one of our past shows, whenever we had Britt and Galen on to talk about the Guaranteed Million, you have to be entered in the Guaranteed Million to be able to enter the surrounding races. And
Correct.
The surrounding races are the deal of the century, man. $80,000 for, I think, a $500 entry fee. And then you got a 40 for, I think it's like $250 or something like that. So those guys being able to get that million entry, they might honestly not even care so much about that, but now you can participate in these other races.
Right.
And they'll let you double in those even if you're not doubled in the million this year.
Check this out. Here's a question from Sean Pinkerton. He's piggybacking off of the kind of the way the economy is going, whatever you want to call it here. It says, great point on next year with the way costs have driven up. As a racer, do you risk re-entry money on 2022 races with the uncertainty of the economy? Pre-entry. Okay, I got you. Do you risk your pre-entry money in 2022? I'm not so sure you're going to get a chance to risk pre-entry money in 2022 at this point, guys. The way I see it going down, there are going to be a lot of what we want to race as Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel subscribers, followers, likes, people who support us. I feel like next year is going to be the year of the budget racer. There's going to be a lot of budget racing going on. I don't think that these races are going to require a pre-entry. I don't think you're going to see very many caps at these races. I think you're going to be able to pull up at races come next year to run for 5 and 10, like the working man's 10 grand. I think you can probably get comfortable with races of that magnitude. Yes, you're going to see your 50s still out there. I do think you'll see a couple of hundreds out there, but I think you're going to get willingly plastered is the best way that I could put it. Willingly. Like, thank you for plastering me with 5s and 10s, because that's all I could race in the first place. So to answer your question, Sean, man, I really don't see a lot of pre-entry happening next year, man. I don't. More to come, of course.
When you're right. Well, in kind of on the same thought process, I guess, is that if, like, now diesel price down the road from my house is I don't know, $1.25 more a gallon than it was earlier in the year, or maybe not even this year, but this time last year for sure. And if you're traveling hundreds of miles and sometimes guys get into the thousands, that $1.25 a gallon adds up very fast.
Yeah.
Especially when we're talking these big, massive rigs, or, I mean, even my truck, best case scenario, only gets 13 miles to the gallon.
Same, and I'm towing an open trailer,
Right.
But it luckily, guys, this isn't something that we're going into without people watching at the same time. All our promoters are watching. That's why we're not going to see a guaranteed million next year. They know for a fact, hey man, we might want to pump the brakes on a race of this magnitude, because who knows what the heck's about to happen for the next however many years. And so we've been through this similarly, and me and Casey talked about this before, kind of in 08, 09, that recession that came through. really put a damper on bracket racing. I mean,
Right.
heck, you couldn't get a regular Saturday event to guarantee any payouts anymore. I mean, I don't. If they were guaranteeing payouts, you were in the South, the deep South, like
Right.
kind of where Casey is right now, or where I am now. But being in the
Where
North, where
there's
we
tons
were,
and tons of cars.
being in the North where we were, that was just like, no, you're not. We're not going to guarantee
And
anything because the local tracks, they can't put it on the risk like that. You know what I mean?
right.
So,
And the thing that no one thinks about too is that it's crazy to say this, but the vast majority of the race cars are in the southeast and the south for the most part. There's a lot in the Midwest, but the thing is there's a lot more in these areas because you have a longer racing season, so it just kind of makes sense that that would be the case.
sure.
Because a lot of people like to do their hobby as much as they can. Well, the thing is that bad times actually will make local tracks thrive as long as the bad times aren't so bad that everybody's losing their houses. But the thing is, that would keep a lot more people home. So you might see a lot of tracks, like a lot of home tracks, throwing some bigger races for their home racers. Like the lot just put their schedule out for next year, their tentative schedule, and they did a 21K blackjack race right before the spring fling lot, which makes sense.
Right,
To
because
do
they're
it
going to
right
grab
then.
all
And they
those racers the week before. It's only smart.
right.
Yeah.
But what I also noticed is they also have a 20 grander this year as well. So they're having their own big races now. And yeah, I know that we're talking about the guaranteed million. That's nothing compared to the guaranteed million, but that is a lot for people who are local racers. So that's something I can go to because the entry fee is going to be more expensive. And I don't have the entry fee money plus the diesel money plus the off time to go somewhere. But I do have the ability to go 30 minutes down the road and take the diesel money and the entry fee money, combine it, because now I don't have to drive so far and I can enter that race, you know?
True. Sean Pinkerton actually just said exactly what you said, and you're not even looking at Facebook, that it's a great time for local tracks. It could be. Let's just, yeah, we're forecasting. Everything is just forecasting right now, of course, but this is going to be an interesting upcoming year. I'm definitely not as confident as I was coming into last year. If you remember going bracket racing when we first started this bad boy, where we were coming into a heck of, 2022, it's been a good year for bracket racing. So,
2021, you're ahead.
Good point. Anyway, you know what I meant, right?
Hey, maybe that's good. Maybe if you see into the future, that'd be good for us. I have to tell you this, by the way, because David Hearn said something hilarious in here and I missed it. So when we were talking about who do you think's going to win the million, he says, "I hope driver not on file takes it all the way."
I'm with it.
That would be pretty funny.
Hey, you know
Don't
what?
know who it is till they get
That
out
might
of the
be
car.
bad though. Driver not on file, win the million, and you're not on file. So who do we pay? Woo, that might suck a little bit.
Racer X.
Excuse me.
But he's also saying down here also that that's exactly right. The local points racing starts looking a lot better when money tightens up. So next year might be the year that you see your local tracks blow up again.
It's quite possible. I'm going to be locally anyway. CP Promotions. I already told you, B. I'm probably going to be at your race. Your race is probably a couple of those if I can. But other than that, I'm going to stick my head out of the window and figure out which direction it might rain in, and I'm going to go the opposite direction because that's how many tracks I have in my area. You know, I can just kind of do the old thumb test here. I'm going to Ardmore. Yep, going to Ardmore. Yep. See ya.
And that might be a cue too, is if everybody else kind of is thinking that and everybody talks around and sees that's the case. This upcoming year might be the year to do some sort of regional series in your area if you're a promoter, like do some sort of like CP does in his area, or like Galen does down by Gulfport, stuff like that. Have your little like 3 or 4 race series that isn't necessarily just crazy money, but like CP just had those $7,500 races. Have like triple $7,500 races 3 times a year and have a points program with it.
Yep. Hey, and we had Kyle Riley on, and he straight up told us he's going to bring bracket racing to your door. So he's basically going to save you fuel money to come and race with SFG. it's that first race I think was scheduled for Muncie, and then rain and everything else was in the forecast. So, I mean, I think that one got canceled. But I just think that at least we have a group of promoters who are forecasting the future like we are, or they have their thought process. They're not being irrational with their thoughts. Like Sean Pinkerton said, are we going to be looking at pre-entry a lot next year? I really don't think we're going to see a lot of pre-entry. I really don't, because everybody is forecasting kind of the same. So, great topic. I don't even know how we got here, but perfect topic. Kind of leading up into the end of the year. Man.
Whenever I end up listening to these back to record them for the podcast streams, which are like usually a month behind just because I don't have time to do GBR and go to work and work on 2 race cars and do that as fast, but they do get up there. The thing that I always find out is that while I'm listening, that's whenever I have to write the description, so I can be like, oh, we talked about that. I mean, that's the reason we have this, man, is so we can all talk about a little bit of everything. But here's the question, George.
Gotcha.
You already said you think a door truck's going to win, and you already made your pick. But so obviously, door car or dragster, who's going to win the guaranteed million? I think it's the year of the dragster. I really do. I think people in dragsters have been dominating this year, and I was kind of running through people in my head of like, who do I think is really going to like big time it here pretty soon? And I actually liked your idea of Gary Williams winning it, because I think we're overdue for Gary to do something big time here. But I thought if he was going to do it, I think he's going to do it in his dragster. But you know who I really think is going to take this? I have actually kind of have 3 picks, actually. First of all, I really think that Stephen McQuarrie has been driving very, very, very well and been going deep everywhere he's been in that overkill dragster. So it'd be stupid to count him out. The person, and this is actually my tie right here of who I think is going to win. It's between Kyle Coltrera and Nick Folk. And I mean, Kyle Coltrera, I think, won and runnered up to himself. Nick Folk, you can never bet against Nick Folk. He's always deep everywhere he goes, everywhere. I mean, that dude, I would like to see how many times he's not in the split whenever he goes somewhere. And by the way, in the chat, put who you think's going to win here.
Yeah, definitely.
This guaranteed million. But, dude, Nick Folk, I don't know how he flies under the radar so much, because he's always in the finals. I mean, he's always in the semis or something, but it just seems like people don't talk about Nick Folk like they talk about everyone else. And Nick Folk he hasn't just had a few good years. Nick Folk's been doing good for like 20 years, 25 years,
Yeah.
It's nuts. So
it's,
I really think Nick Folk's going to do it.
It's a door car year. I just feel a door car winning it. Man, I'm sticking with my door trucks. It's gonna be something with doors, and it's gonna be a truck. I don't have another way to think about it, honestly. Who's that youngster? Who's the youngster?
That's what I was getting ready to say. I bet you Garrett Griffith is down there, because he's won enough money to be there.
Griffith.
And he's
that's another good shot.
Is he a foot breaker?
I don't think so. I think he's a top bulber. I think he's a top bulber. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there's a good shot. He would do it. I mean, can you imagine winning the guaranteed million, whatever? I mean, that kid probably isn't even old enough to drink a beer yet.
Hey.
How would he even celebrate?
How would you celebrate?
I don't know, man. I'd probably be like, hey, Dad, how much money did I get?
Well, something. Hey, Dad, what's that in your hand, son? Soda. Yeah. Soda. You want one? Shoot. That's all I can say to you, man. How would I celebrate winning $1 million? I would give honor to the Lord upstairs first, and I'm gonna find my wife or something. I don't know. That's a tough one. I done dreamed it a few times. I can promise you that.
Dude,
I done dreamed it a couple of times. What would I do if I won $1 million?
You know who else might go really deep? And I bet you is down there is Ricky Jones in that yellow Camaro.
Yeah, because he was on a tear at the OG too.
Yes.
the McCartys, if they take their rig to the Guaranteed, which I'm not sure, that's a nice size haul for. Where's this at again in Alabama?
Yeah, Montgomery.
Okay, so that ain't too far for the McCartys to go to, I don't think. But you're gonna have Gliddy's there. You're gonna have Caroline. You're gonna have Tripp. You're gonna have all Buck.
Yep.
You can't put anything past any of them either. So, like we said, guys, this list was too short to be able to put everybody on it, and they have all been driving their tails off. I think I just saw Tripp in the winner circle a couple days ago. So, I mean, it's
him and Caroline and Corey.
Right.
That was who else hasn't really done a really big thing lately, I don't think? Johnny Bracket Racer.
Huh. Yeah, and I can't remember how far he got into the OG, but not far enough. You know what I mean? And but again, are we finding that people have targets on their back now? People like Cowboys versus the Broncos, for instance. Let's just talk football. How in the world did the Broncos beat the Cowboys 30-16? They gave them something they didn't expect, or they had a target on their back, and the Broncos said, we're going to come out and we're going to play harder than you. Well, the same concept, I believe, takes effect in bracket racing. You've won a few big-time races. You've won $1 million. This person knows you because you were on Motor Mania when he was at home sitting on the couch, and this time he's in the lane next to you. You're getting his best of the best. So you have no room for error. And I know these guys understand that. I know I'm not breaking any type of news to anybody who doesn't understand. If you don't understand bracket racing, then you understand the concept of having a target on your back because you won a championship or something.
If you're running somebody like Jeff Serra right now, and Jeff Serra is by far at the top of his game right now. This is the best he's ever been. He's always been good, but this is the best he's ever been. No one's going to argue with that. Here's the thing. If you run Jeff Serra right now, your best bet is to be like, okay, I'm set up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Set it up perfect and don't even look at him.
Yep.
Seriously, because I mean, you're not going to outdrive the guy.
Nope.
And your only shot is to beat him on the tree and run dead on with a better number than he does. And don't look at him because you have no clue what he's doing.
In the words of my friend Kevin Lloyd Little, kamikaze that thing. Ride that thing straight on through because, hey, I'm going low 00 and I ain't looking at you. If it break out, well, dang it, I gave it my best. But it ain't going to break out or I ain't going to lose being above, put it that way. If I lose being above, it's because I missed the tree. Huh?
Right. And it's your only shot. And the thing is that some of these guys, you're right. If they have a target on their back, there are going to start to be people. Because I know for a long time, I heard this was like 20 years ago, before there was Motor Mania, before there was Facebook, before people really knew who people were unless you paid attention and went to these big races. There was, I don't remember who it was exactly, but it might have been like Troy or Gary or some of those guys. They wouldn't run their name on the side of the car because you'll know a name, but you won't know a face because you've never actually seen them.
Yep.
Because it puts a target on their back because people are like, dude, you can't go up. If you're someone like Jeff Serra right now, you have to be better than 5 on the tree and run dead on with lower than a 5 because the guy next to you expects you to do that. So he's probably going to do exactly like I said, maybe set up to be 2 or 3 because you're not out going to drive him.
So, and we could very well be telling everybody who likes to hire a hired gun, hey, I'm George. I'm a hired gun, by the way. If you want to put me in a car, I can handle that. But guess what I bring to the table? This is my resume. Check this out, Casey. This is what I would say in the interview. Well, Jeff Serra's racing somebody he doesn't know. Maybe he wants to take it easy on that person. Maybe he's like, all right, I can be 16 total. And I'm over here like, hey, Jeff Serra, I know you. I'm setting up 8 total. Well, I'm going to win that round, right? Okay, but what do you think Jeff Serra thinks when he's pulling up against Gary Williams? Do you think it is easier to race the bigger name driver right now over said unknown? What do you think?
I don't know, man. I mean,
because let's be honest, the unknown is unknown. The unknown, you don't know who the heck that is. But the Jeff Serras, the McCorys, the McCartys, whoever else, they're all over Motor Mania TV. That unknown driver knows exactly who you are, but you don't know who they are. So Who's got the advantage? That's what I bring to the table. If you want to hire me to drive a race car, I'm an unknown driver. Nobody knows what I can do in a race car, so they don't have to think that they have to be perfect against me. It's almost like playing pool, going to a pool hall and being really, really good at pool, and nobody
Right.
knowing it. I used to do that a
People have
lot.
been pool hustling for forever. You
What?
know.
So I don't know. Maybe we stumble up on something. So what do you think, man?
We
You think
might,
you
man.
think it's easier for them to race against big name drivers to race against other big name drivers? Or do you think they get on the wheel more for the no namer? Because
I don't know, man,
everybody can
because
try to say, yeah, you set it up and you run the same every single time, no matter who you're racing against. Let's be honest. I guarantee you that doesn't happen. I guarantee it.
right.
Let's just be
I
honest.
mean, they have to though. They have to do what they're doing. They have to get up on the wheel.
No
And
matter
you
what.
would think, for example, you know for a fact, we've seen Gary Williams race forever. Gary Williams isn't sleeping on anybody. Gary Williams is probably, I feel like Gary sets up tighter than anyone I've ever heard of. I feel like Jeff Serra learned that from Gary doing it and being successful. And I think Jeff sets up tighter, and I really think that he I really think that he holds so much that no one knows what's going on. And he's the only one that has at least kind of an idea what's going on. And I'm sure he's made enough runs. He knows where to kill stuff and where to do this, where to do that. But I mean, there's times that he's probably holding 8 to 10 numbers. So if you're holding anything, if you're in front of him and he's like, there you go, man, run it on through. I know that
I
I'm
know.
holding a ton.
So check this out, and let's save this for the next stream too. But let me read this from Sean Pinkerton, and maybe I'll get my thought back. But do they run each other enough that they are more prepared to run each other? I think the answer to that question is yes. I do.
Yep, that's true.
Just because when you look at all these big money bracket races, generally you might get lucky and find two no namers inside of the last 30 something cars, maybe. But by the time you get to the 16s, you're probably gonna know the name of the driver that's in the 16th in the round of 16s.
And if you didn't before, you know it now.
That's
For
correct,
sure. Because
and
you're not
that's
going to get
100% correct.
somewhere like you can luck your way through a few rounds, but you're not going to luck your way all the way down.
So
And it's like George Hoff said right here. You can be 005 total against Jeff, but that doesn't mean your win light's coming on.
that's a true statement. That's a true statement. But and we're coming up on the hour, guys. We know, and I want to make sure we get this one down, Casey, because I think this will be good for the next open discussion. But can you set up 008 when you're holding 5 numbers?
Can
Like
you set up
it's
008 on the tree?
well, no, set up 008 pack total. I'm trying to be 10 here and maybe 1 there on the dial. You see what I mean? So I'm set up 20, right? Right?
Mhm.
Can a person who holds numbers, quote unquote, be set up to have a certain amount of package? I think
I
we got to
don't
talk
think you
about
can
that because
set up to.
I need to think about that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think you can set up to be exactly that, but I know you can set up to be if you like.
Range
Let's
it,
just say
put
your
a range on it.
theory is you're going to be 8. You would have a spread of like you're going to be between 6 and 12, probably.
I got
That's
you.
reasonable.
I got you. I think that'll make a good subject on the next open discussion if we don't forget that. I'd like to know a
Yeah,
lot of your takes on, he's set up to be 4 on the tree, but he's carrying 6 numbers down the track and hoping that he's going to
dude.
be anywhere between dead on and 2 above. I guess.
Nick Hastings does it all the time. If you look at dragstory.com, which I'm pretty sure that's the guy who owns Motor Mania's website,
I believe it is. Yes.
and if you look at the results of I can't remember which race it was anymore, but I was looking through round by round results, and at one point Nick Hastings was dialed 598 when he ran somebody, and I'm sure he sprayed it that round. So, but I know for a fact I have seen Nick Hastings dialed 606 one round against some ultra fast blower car. And then I saw him the very next round dialed 612 to 614. So the answer is yes, because Nick Hastings wins just as much as anybody.
Yep, I got you. I got you. Okay. Let's talk about that, man. I think we'll have a pretty good conversation surrounding that topic, man. But before we get out of here, what you got?
Not a lot, man. Just as always, like we said earlier in the stream, man, if you need something, Champ's on his way to Montgomery right now. I'm sure he's got nothing to do. So call him and order some parts. And other than that, I don't know, man. We'll just be back live from the 8th mile, right? We'll be
live
back
from the 8th mile.
weekend.
Don't forget, guys.
Saturday.
Saturday when it comes down to about 16 cars, I think. We may get on a little sooner. Just depends on how Casey and I feel about it. I mean, if you catch us logged in, we'll try to give a reminder throughout the week. We will be live from the 8th mile. Bring your cooler with Gatorade in it, and sodas and whatever else, and a bunch of ice, because we're going to go live from the 8th mile again for the guaranteed million. So I would say we'll see you next Tuesday, but hopefully we'll see y'all live from the 8th mile. Peace out, guys.